You didn't write the first draft of your money story, but today you take the pen back. You take the notebook back. For too long, we've lived inside financial scripts we didn't choose. Scripts written by our parents' struggles or culture's confusion, and a system designed to keep us borrowing, not building. This conversation is your permission slip. Remember those? Your permission slip to yourself to question all of it. Over the next 25 to 30 minutes, we're going to expose the borrowed beliefs hiding in plain sight. We're going to unpack why infinite banking isn't just about numbers, it's a new financial identity. And most importantly, you'll craft a new creed, a money story rooted in ownership, intention, control, and legacy. By the end of the session, you won't just understand infinite banking, you'll feel something shift. But you'll start seeing yourself not as a consumer, but as a creator, a builder, someone who doesn't pass down financial stress, but instead financial systems. So pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what money story have I been living in? Is it even mine? Because after today, it will be. And now that might scare some of you more than having a new money story. So, week one, we learned, right? We talked recently about paying yourself first. A lot of people get confused. And we realize that paying yourself first isn't just financial advice, it's the oxygen. And if you're not funding your future first, loving yourself a little bit more, you're going to run on empty. And you can't lead when you're running on empty or you're gasping for air. And then we set our big visions, our bigger goals. We challenged the default settings. We stopped playing not to lose. Prevent defense. We know how that went for the Oilers, right? We started imagining what life could look like if we played to win, to step up, put our shoulders back, our chins up, our eyes forward, and play to win. You set goals not just for your income, but for your impact. A builder, not a borrower. And then we took a slice out of Jocko Willink's book and talked about how discipline equals freedom. We connected the dots between discipline and decision making. You saw how banking, when practiced with consistency, becomes the backbone of financial freedom. And discipline wasn't a cage, it was the key to unlocking a more powerful, empowering future. Last week, we talked about 4 virtues. You learned how real wealth is built on character, courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom. That's from Stoic philosophy. That is from the compass of our cardinal virtues. Virtues are pivotal stuff. They built ancient empires. They're the same ones that build financial empires that last. And today we're going to bring it all together, because even with strategy, structure, and systems, if the story, what you believe about money, hasn't changed, you'll sabotage your own progress. You didn't write the first draft of your money story. Someone else wrote it for you. But you are responsible, and you will write the next chapter. And your future, family, legacy, and their lives depends on it. Now, that's some exciting stuff right there. We're coming out hot. So let's talk about the script that you didn't write. You didn't, like I said, you did not write the first draft of your money story, right? Think about all the programming. Think about what you learned as a child, and who'd you learn from? Who are the people that taught you? Maybe your parents, your grandparents, your uncle, or your broke-ass brother-in-law. Maybe it was the banking system. Maybe it was your econ teacher in high school. I don't know who taught you about money, but I can tell you factually that the rich and the builders and the borrowers play by polar opposite rules. And most of us grew up in that financial system, myself included, where we show up first, you leave last, you work hard, you're humble, and you're taught that by your parents, your school, your culture, your friends. Maybe you have stories that money was tight. Maybe money caused arguments. Maybe it was never talked about. It was taboo. It was like politics, religion, sex. Don't talk about those. But here's the truth. The patterns you've inherited, they're inherited. Doesn't mean you have to keep them. Once you have self-awareness, these aren't principles. So this is not about blame. You can recognize what I'm talking about. I can feel it. Put it in the chat. This is about ownership, about you reclaiming your power, taking it back. You know, we have brilliant minds like Ted Benna, the father of the 401k, who has openly expressed in Forbes and other places his concern with the 401k system he created. He said the 401k helped open the door to Wall Street to make even more money. That wasn't the motive. The motive was to help the middle class. The motive wasn't to continue to take more from us. But again, polar opposite rules. If the wealthy created it and they can send us out to go make money, go make money. Oh, you're doing a good job. Give me all your money. Oh, you're doing a good job. Just hold on 20, 30 years from now. Oh, I'll take good care of you. Good job. And it's not working out. We are not feeling financial certainty. Instead, the biggest fear in the world around money, or the biggest fear in the world right now, is money in the US. Is money. But we live in the wealthiest country at the best time in history with the most technology and opportunity. Isn't it time to take the power back? If you could take the power back, would you? Pop it in the chat. Would you take back control if you knew you could? And again, you've been trained to be dependent, to borrow, to ask, to hope someone else takes care of it, to hope someone's going to let you have some of it. So break it down, whether it's student loans, mortgage notes, car notes. We're groomed to consume, to borrow, to defer, to think in short-term periods, month to month. No one taught us to build a capital system for ourselves. No one even talked about those things. That's why when you hear becoming BYOB, you all think what? You all think bring your own booze, bring your own beer. True? Right? We're all groomed to, hey, that's why I'm going to put it right in the side of my truck. BYOB. Look at that guy. He's a booze hound. No, I'm someone who's taken back ownership. We weren't taught to build capital, to own the system, to use our own money on our own terms. Infinite banking isn't just a savings tool, it's a rebellion. It's reprogramming you all in a way that actually serves you, reprogramming you to win. We are now Jedis or Padawans. We are fighting the evil empire. That is what I actually truly believe down to my core. Today is your last day of being a borrower. Tomorrow, you're a builder. It's an identity shift. Think about some of the things you heard. Pop them in the chat. I want to see what you guys heard. What kind of things were you told about money as a kid? What word did you hear the most when you asked for money or you wanted something? Did you hear, no, we can't blank that, or we can't blank to go on vacation? Money doesn't grow on fill in the blanks. What are some of the things that you guys heard? You know, money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. No, we already have one of those. No, your brother has one of those. Your sister has one of those. But who told you money had to be scarce? Who taught you that success comes with stress, with worry, with anxiety, with fear? F that. I almost cuss. F that. Who made you believe that wealth wasn't for people like you and I? Did you ever think that to be wealthy, that person had to do something that was not right? That wasn't just, wasn't fair? Did you ever think the wealthy had to steal from the poor to become rich? I can tell you from the wealthy folks I've met, the ones that I know in my circle, the 99% of those folks are some of the kindest, most caring, most giving people ever. Why? Because of what money truly is. Money is nothing more than energy. We talk about it being a tool. I want to elevate its existence. I really like that it is energy. It's good, uplifting energy, and it's exchange of energy. And these aren't the truths that you were taught, right? That money doesn't grow on trees. It's actually, it does grow on trees. It's paper. Where's paper come from? So it actually, factually, does grow on trees. And you can afford to go on vacation. You just choose not to. You choose to make lower value spending choices. These are scripts. These are things that you believe that aren't even true, and they're your cage. They're your prison. They're what's holding you back daily. Now, not you guys, not this group. A lot of you are already on the path forward. because you're showing up, you're doing the hardest thing, you're thinking for yourself. You're investing your most valuable resource, your time, your energy, your money, and damn, it's inspiring. So with IBC, it's a system that helps you keep your capital. It keeps your capital growing uninterrupted. It helps it grow tax-free away from our uncle, that Uncle Sam dude, right? It helps the money stay protected against attorneys. It keeps the money accessible and it protects your family for the day that will inevitably come. And I'm sorry, I know I get into it every week. I do not mean to come here all the time and let you know, remind you you're going to die, but you should think about it. You should think about it daily. Be grateful when you go to bed. Be grateful when you wake up because nothing is promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So now you can live, you can love, you can lend, and you can most importantly lead without permission. We're replacing your shame, your worry, your fear, your low vibration. It's either fear or faith. You pick. But we're replacing it with ownership. We're replacing reaction with intention. This is a better path forward. It's a higher vibrational forward. And when your legacy starts between the real estate between your ears, it starts with belief. It's not a matter of what resources we're leaving. It is the resourcefulness that we leave. You know, I heard a story from a third generational banker on Tuesday. And this is an impressive individual. This guy, third generational banker, you know, just exited in 2019, 76 companies that he built and sold for 1.2 or $1.3 billion. It's a lot of money. His family has 70 of these systems we're talking about, the trust systems and everything built up. Again, remember, the wealthy are playing a completely different game. So when he was in college, nothing was given to him, but he was always made the introductions to the things that he wanted to learn about, to the people who actually knew about the things that would help move him forward. And so when he was in college, one of his roommates were like, hey, you know, Eddie, I got to go down to the bursar's office. He's like, why do you got to do that? What are you talking about? You got to go and take a loan from the government? What? Why aren't you taking it from your family bank? And so one of my breakthroughs the other day for me was, you know, we're building wealth, we're keeping wealth, and we're eventually going to multiply wealth. What if you're generation number one, like myself and many of you, maybe our job is to build and keep it and start to learn how to multiply it, but we're leaving the resourcefulness for our kids. You know, we talk about the children, the families, and the communities. That is what we serve. But most people think of legacy in numbers. How much are they leaving behind? But if your kids inherit a wealth and they lack the belief, they lack the knowledge, they lack the resourcefulness, they'll end up like who? You know, they're not going to end up like the Rockefellers. They're going to end up like the Vanderbilts. They're going to squander it. They're going to have fear and worry and stories that don't serve them around the money. So even though infinite banking gives you more money and multiplies the money in the future, it gives you so much more than just the dollars. It gives you a visible example of how to treat people and how to treat money with dignity, discipline, and design. You know, your policy is more than just a bank. It's a belief system wrapped in action. And we all know that without the testing part, without the action, without the doing, nothing will ever change. Nothing will ever change. So this is what we're here for today. This is the important work right here. And I have a challenge for all of you. I'm going to hold the challenge later. That's what I learned earlier. But I want you to finish this sentence with honesty and courage. In my family, we blank with money. And starting today, we blank. Here's two examples. In my family, we avoided talking about money. Starting today, we lead conversations on a regular, consistent basis about money. Okay. Another example. In my family, we spent everything. Nothing was left over. Starting today, we build a system where we can self-finance our future. This is your new creed. Speak it, write it, live it, pass it on. Share it in the chat. What is your new creed today? That example, in my family, we blank with money, and starting today, we do what? So write down your disempowering belief first, and then write down your empowering belief. Be honest with it. Write down what it really means. The more vulnerable you are, the closer you are to growing, the more uncomfortable it is. So, this inherited script that we took on, do you know as of 2024, 66% of Americans still report living paycheck to paycheck? Again, how is that possible? How is that possible? That should fire you up a little bit, make you a little bit angry. This is according to multiple national studies. Market Watch, CNBC, Payment Intelligence. This means that 2 out of every 3 adults, 2/3 of adults, spend as much money as they make each month, leaving no room to be able to do what we're talking about, to build a financial system and a financial path forward. Do you believe if the majority of these people, or a lot of these people, are earning over $100,000 and still living paycheck to paycheck, do you believe that they're not earning enough money? Or is it simply the script, the words, the language, the ideas, and the beliefs that they think about money and what they're telling themselves? God did not make you guys to suffer. He did not make you to be poor. He made you to be wealthy, abundant, to grow, to give, to be an inspiration and a leader to others. So now, when you're writing your new chapter, you're going to write one built on belief, structure, and ownership. It might end with you, this old script, but it doesn't stop with you. You carry a new story forward, a new chapter, a new message for your family. So if you're home alone or you're in the car, just look crazy. Say your creed out loud. Whatever your new creed is out loud, here's the challenge. Say it out loud, post it in the chat, post it on social media. There's a big group of you here today. A lot of you are regulars. Who's going to be first to post it? How many of you will actually post your new creed? I'm going to ask Patty to post our creed right after this on the way to the airport. We will post it. Post yours. Post your story. And I just saw her cover her mouth like, what is he talking about? We're going to post our creed. Post your creed. Post it in the chat. Encourage others to do it. What is your new creed, your new belief around money? Read it and see it daily. Post it somewhere where you can see it. Put it on the mirror in your bathroom when you're brushing your teeth or you're combing your hair. Put it on your computer. Read it, see it daily. Post it daily. Question the scripts that you didn't choose, right? Question the ones that you didn't choose. You're reclaiming your power by unlearning the scripts that don't serve you. And your legacy, just as Gandhi said, begin with your beliefs, right? Your beliefs are going to go all the way down to your future. They flow all the way down. So we got to start with recognizing the self-awareness, the discipline, right? What level of discipline was that? That's the level 4 discipline. To obey what's right, to obey what's right, to have self-discipline, to have self-control, and then to have self-awareness. Those are the 4 stages. And all we're doing here is going to that belief, that top of the line, the top of the mind, between the ear thinking, and saying, this script I adopted no longer serves me. I thought about this the other day when I was like, I'm 50 years in. How much longer will I keep being driven from stress, worry, fear around money? What will my next 50 look like? What will it feel like when everything is happening for me? Everything, right? The blessings and the lessons, nothing more. You are now empowered to rewrite your script from where you started and make sure it empowers you going forward. And to wrap this all up with a pretty little bow, you've just reclaimed your power, not by learning something new, but by unlearning what never served you. You've seen the truth. Your legacy doesn't begin with money. It begins with belief. And infinite banking is the structure that helps you live it out loud. You named the old script, you wrote a new creed, you took a stand, not just for yourself, but for the generations watching you. Now it's time to back your belief with a system, a process, a real living example of financial freedom in action. The old story ends with you. The new one starts with your next move. So speak your new creed out loud, write it, share it, post it. And if you're ready to align this belief with real infinite banking strategy, book a call, scan that QR code. Let's make the system match the story. Again, like always, if you're new here, subscribe. Smash the like button, ring the bell, because you might be just alerted to new content helping more people learn how you can take back control of your money and become your own banker. Invite others to the Infinite Banking Bus. It is a big ass bus. And with 25 of you here, if you each brought one more person, we will double the number. If you brought 2 people, we'll triple the number. Expand the bus. It is the best message you could share with anyone. It's a message of abundance, of possibility, of truth. And it is here and available for each and every one of you weekly. I'm going to see you guys in this next video. I'm going to see you guys right here, same time, same channel. Got a special guest coming to you next week. You don't want to miss it. Real life examples of banking. Make sure you show up. Make sure you're ready to take notes and learn something. Again, I'm incredibly, incredibly humbled and grateful from my heart to yours. Thank you. God bless. I'm so grateful for you guys.